All right, everybody, welcome back. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to go over the figures and the data part of the ChemPy package. So to start things off, like last time, what we're going to do is we're going to import the compound object. So from ChemPy.molecularProperties import compound. And for today, what we're going to be looking at is how different properties change as you add a carbon to an alcohol. So starting with the first, with one carbon, methanol. Methanol. I'm going to go all the way up to hexanol. So this one will be ethanol. This one will be propanol. This one will be butanol. This one will be pentanol. Last but not least, this will be hexanol. Now, what we're going to be looking at first is look at the name of the compound. We're going to look at the formula for the compound. We're going to look at molecular weight. We're going to look at boiling point. Well, let's look at melting point. Then we'll look at boiling point. Then just to make this easier, I'm going to put these all into a list. And with methanol, going to ethanol, propanol, butanol, pentanol, and hexanol. So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to put into a dictionary, because what we're going to end up doing is with ChemPy and its data package, to create a data object, you need a title, so you want to call it, and then a data set, which will be a dictionary. So to create a dictionary, we're going to have an empty one just called data. Then we're going to go through the columns and the compounds. So what we're going to do is, for key and columns, so we're going to have our variable go through each one of these. So go through name, formula, molecular weight, so on. And it'll add that to the data dictionary. So to start off, first I'm going to do data key, then just an empty list. Then for comp and compounds, data key dot append comp __ dictionary key. So all that'll do is we'll just add that to the data dictionary, and once all that gets added, we're going to have ourselves a data set. Data equals data title. We'll do properties of alcohols. Data. Then just to show you what it looks like, do print dataset.dataframe. Excuse me. Let's run that. before we do that, we have to install Plotly. So if you guys ever see an error down at the bottom, all you gotta do is type pip install and then that package name. So in this case, Plotly. I'm just gonna sit here and let that install. And as soon as that's finished installing over on the script again, you should be able to see the data frame that is produced by the data object. All right. So with that, let's run this again. All right, then as you can see, there's our indexes here, all the names, so methanol, ethanol, propanol, butanol, pentanol, hexanol. Has our boiling points, 148.3, 173.3, 207, 243.9, 280, 314. And as you can sort of see already just by looking at this, you see the boiling point increases as you add another carbon. So in case that's not clear enough, another thing ChemPy comes with is a document builder. So from ChemPy dot figures, import all. And then so what the figures module does is it has stuff to build, for example, graphs using Plotly, which you just installed, and it has stuff that can build an HTML document if you want to, for example, add style, add figures, add images, add whatever you want to present your data. So with that, what we want to do is we'll make a document for HTML. Doc equal HTML doc. So the file name is just going to be what it's saved as. So by default, it's figure.html. Then keywords, which stand for keyword arguments, is just any initial styles you want to add on to it. So for example, if you want to have your body have a background of, say, background color, and you want it to be, say, light blue, that's where you put it in. We're just going to keep it the way it is for now. Then with doc, what you can do is you can add components. Now, what a component is just, for example, like H1 stands for heading 1, H2 stands for heading 2, 3, heading 3, so on and so forth. Any object that works in the HTML document will work here. So, for example, if you want to have a div in there, you can. If you want to have just a paragraph in there, you can, so on and so forth. But specifically for this problem, looking at all these, and you want to put it into a presentable format, what you can do is data has a method which will turn it into an HTML table. I'll also give you an ID, so if you want to come up here and assign it during the initiation or by doing doc.styles, which I'll show you in just a second. But for ID, what we'll do is we'll do prop table. That's our property table. So doc.rawStyle, And for our key, what we'll do is whenever we're referencing an ID in HTML and CSS, we do a pound symbol followed by the name. So prop table. Then for this, what we want to do is you want to add a border, the 2 pixels solid black. We'll do a background color of light gray. We'll set the width to be 50%. And we'll set the margin to auto. That way when it loads, it'll be centered on the document. Then just to make it easier to see, what we'll do, doc.rawstyle. I'm going to go focus on the prop table again. But now we'll do table row, so all the rows in that table, nth child, we'll do odd. So every odd child in there will be affected by what we've put in here. So for example, we want to say background color let's do light blue. And then let's do a border of 2 pixels solid black as well. So to add the table to the document, what we gotta do is do doc.addComponent dataset.toHTML table. So then we have to do doc.build, and that will be what creates the file. So right click, run figures_tutorial.py. Give it a little bit to run. Then, as you can see, we open this up. We're going to open it in our web browser, and as you can see, has our names: methanol, ethanol, propanol, butanol, pentanol, hexanol, the formulas, molecular weights, the melting points, and the boiling points. So now you can see all of the data points. You see boiling point is increasing as you add carbon. Same deal with melting point after you get past propanol. So as you see with methanol, -144. Get down to ethanol, it drops. Go to propanol, it drops. And the butanol, it increases. So you might say, well, it might be better if you add a graph to it. Or it might be better with a visual aid. So let me close that out. We go back here. Then in the same module figures, it has a graph object, which is called figure. So you have fig equals figure. And here you enter the amount of rows you want. So since we're looking at melting point, or molecular weight, melting point, boiling point, it might make sense to add 3 rows, 1 column. And title, I call physical properties of alcohols. And then chords is just any styles, anything extra you're going to add to it. So what we're going to do add scatter. X will set equal to a list counting the number of carbons in each one. So our methanol starting with 1, hexanol ending with 6. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Y, for the first one we're going to do is melting point. So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to data set. We're going to access the data in there. So to do that, go data set, the key, which is melting point. Do is I for I in range 6. Then title will do melting point, scatter. For row, we'll leave it as 1, 1. Big.add scatter. Well, I'm not going to be here to copy paste this. But this time, we're going to be doing boiling point. And now to add this to the graph or the document, what you got to do is doc.add plotly graph. Do fig.build, which will add all these traces to the respective graphs. Almost forgot, you have to do row equals 2. Actually, you're going to do row equals 3. This will be row equals 2. What we're going to do is we're going to add one more at the very top. And this will be molecular weight. Let me just change this around. Scatter. And so let's run this. Give it a minute while it scrubs PubChem, builds document, all that stuff. One thing I forgot to mention is all of these are a special measurement data object or object. So basically all that means is it has a value and a unit. If you want to access just the value, whenever you access it, do dot value. try that one more time. Alright. Go back here, open this up. Then as you can see, select molecular weight, you can see it's a very linear line. Boiling point, right here, same deal. 1 carbon versus 2 versus 3 versus 4. It's very linear. And then right here, you sort of see like where I was talking about earlier, where this drops initially, but then skyrockets at the very end. So it goes down, decreases, then goes back up, up, up. So that might be something you investigate, or by using these tables, this module, other modules, other packages, you can sort of like theorize, set up a solver, sort of like get that process in motion. So with that, that covers most of what the figures and data packages can do at the moment. Later on, there will be adding some other stuff, like for example, tidy data. So if you ever want to merge these and say, I want just like type property or property, the molecular weight is 32, next row, melting point 144, so on and so forth. You'll be able to merge columns, separate columns, do a whole bunch of other stuff later on down the line. But with that, thanks for sticking around watching this. Hopefully you guys learned something. If not, I'm not doing my job very well. But stick with me as this thing develops, gets more in-depth, gets more reliable, gets hopefully more optimized with the wait time. But once again, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you learned something, and I'll see you guys in the next video.